Curtin, and I'm here with Vivek.
Let's do it.
Maharati?
I was going to go with Maserati, but okay. You wanted the off-budget brand.
I'm going to make you any classier. How do people find you online, buddy?
At Funny Vivek, sometimes letter M. If you like a good mood twice, type it twice. I don't care. You'll find me.
I guess you must have said this, but someone took Funny Vivek, right?
Dude, some person in this world decided to take Funny Vivek on Facebook and YouTube. And I was like, what? You took that? How dare you? Funny? I checked both channels. Not funny.
Yeah, but and yet taking your name is the funniest thing they've done.
Exactly. Yes. I'm like, well, comedy is tragedy plus time. I'll take it. Yeah. So like there. What about you?
At Andy Curtin on everything. Just Google it, whatever, Instagram, all that jazz. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please hit subscribe. We also have a Patreon account at patreon.com/HoHoPod, and it's been great. We've set a target. We get 6 more patrons. I'm getting a new microphone.
Oh,
we are upgrading this
You're going
equipment.
to sound great. I'll be like...
More so than normal.
Yeah,
right?
It's fine that we understand you.
We put out bonus episodes every Thursday and lots of other fun content on there, so check it out. Now, today's guest is a famous TVB actress. She played Jenny in the TV series Come Home Love. She's won Miss Hong Kong and separately Miss Chinese Vancouver. Vicky Chan, thanks for coming on. This is amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I liked how you were like, we got Jenny over here. I was like, wait, you're Jenny on the block? It's like, oh, wait.
She is still Jenny from the block, actually.
Yeah, you're
Yes,
on the TV show. Yeah, oh
yes.
my God. I love Chinese shows translating names.
It doesn't make sense,
Yeah, it doesn't
right?
make sense. Like Come Home Love, like, what do you mean? Like, you're calling a dog to come back or something?
Yeah.
What's going on? Right?
Is there grammar in this?
Exactly.
Is it come home, comma, love?
Yeah, is it that or just Come Home Love? It's like, what?
Or maybe it's come home love.
Yeah,
like it's
come
hyphenated.
home love.
Yeah, it sounds like porn at that point.
Well, then again,
Especially when you say it.
Oh, thank you, Andy, for ruining the show.
We like to make our guests feel at home.
It's
on
a
the podcast.
family-friendly show until Andy introduced it, and now it's like making family-friendly show.
We're trying to.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, okay. Anyway, so we have Vicky Chan over here with us today, and I have to say, people in Hong Kong who watch TV have definitely seen you. Right? They've seen, Oh We Ga is one of the big shows on TVB that everybody, like, if you turn on the channel.
I get it. I'm the least famous person here, all right? You don't have to stick it in
All
my
right, I was
nose.
waiting for him to come in. I'm like, come on, Andy, when are you going to admit it?
So, who's known by everyone in the city at the table here? Is it Vivek?
Isn't it annoying, Vicky, to get stopped on the streets by everyone? Andy, wait for us until we talk about your life.
Actually, no. Especially when people come up and tell me, "Oh, I really like your show," and I really enjoy that because it really means that they care about my performance. And because on the show I'm a mean bitch, I play the mean bitch character. So when someone comes up, and even little kids, they come up to me and go like, "Hey, Jenny, I really like you," da, da, da. And I'm like, you're supposed to be scared of me, but then they think I'm funny in that way when I do the comedy, not the comedy, but on the show, that character. So I'm quite grateful that people don't want to like throw stones at me or something when I walk out this.
No,
That's really interesting, though. I didn't think about that, but I have heard that in there was like TV shows in Australia. They have like some massive TV dramas in Australia that air in like the UK and France and stuff. And when the characters are nasty, it's usually when the character is nasty to a popular character.
Right.
People will like hurl abuse at the character, the person that's done it in public.
Not me.
Have you ever had like, people just being very surprised that you're not the person that you are on TV?
Oh, absolutely. I think every day when I meet people in the streets, they are surprised that I'm approachable. And then I see them, in the corner trying to take a photo of me or whatever. But I would just actually go up to them and ask, "Hey, would you like a photo with me?" I would do something like that. And they're like, "What? But why are you so nice?"
You're ruining my dream by being a nice person.
Yes.
Do you guys, actually, question for both of you, has face masks changed this dynamic at all?
Dude, people still recognize me thanks to my sideburns.
Well, I was going to say, okay, maybe this question's more directed at Vicky.
Actually, I've tried putting a cap on, putting shades, and a mask on, and I still get recognized. So
Wow.
it doesn't work.
Don't rob a bank.
You got to get
No.
a different mask. You need like a hockey mask.
Yeah.
Or something like that, yes.
Or like a Halloween
Hook
mask.
me up with
over.
that. Hook me up.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I get recognized. I've given up. I just I'm on the streets, and I actually just sometimes just mess with them. I'm like, no, I'm not him. And they're like, oh yeah, racism. I'm like, yeah.
It was funny because we did this podcast with this really old, I say really old,
Yeah.
an older guy.
Okay.
He was a British police officer for 30 years in Hong Kong. Kong, and really interesting guy. But he was he wanted to feel us out a little bit,
Right.
and I'm like, yeah, Vivek's. He thought we were like, a couple of kids with a microphone. I'm like, no, Vivek's done some stuff, and just at that moment, someone walks past the restaurant. It's like, oh, it's you. And I'm like, did you set that up?
Perfect timing. Yeah.
How much did you pay him?
Slip the guy $50, like
$50 for a hey you, 100 for his autograph as well. Do you get that? Like, I'm sure interruptions during your own time. You're having a meal, and all of a sudden the waiter's like, "Aren't you?" You're like, just take my order, please.
Well, yes, I actually do, but again, I'm okay with that as long as they're not just trying to be creepy and taking photos on the side without even like coming to talk to me. Then actually, I really appreciate when people come up and actually am upfront about it and go like, "Hey, can I take a photo?" And I'm like, absolutely, like come here.
I do get recognized at a very small amount of the
By
time.
your family? Like,
No, they don't recognize me. No, I do very rarely, and it's a real battle to not be more excited than the person.
yeah. You're like, oh my god, they recognize
Like,
me.
it is me. Yeah.
You're like, you're not gonna take a photo?
Like, I'll get in your photo. They're like, no, I'm trying to order coffee.
yeah. Then no, can you help us?
Would you like a coffee as well?
Yeah. I'll get it.
Yeah. No, that happens, man. But I mean, a lot of people will probably know you like on TV or from the news or whatever, Wikipedia, all that kind of stuff. But like, I'm sure the whole journey mustn't have been just you woke up one day, you were given birth, and boom, you became an actress, right? You were born in Hong Kong, and
You're Hong Kong born and raised, right?
I was born, yes. Well, I was raised also in Vancouver. Like half my life.
And you studied at University of BC, right?
Yes.
Did you go over there when you were a teenager, or?
When I was 5.
Oh
around
wow!
5.
So you had a good chunk of your life over in Canada.
So sorry, what was the question?
yeah, so you had a good story. Like, we just want to get to know a bit more. Like, you went to Canada, so when you were 5 years old, it was still, everything was kind of new. It didn't really matter. You weren't like, I was missing Hong Kong and all that when you were young, though, right?
No, because I moved with a family, so it was all good.
But you always felt the connection to Hong Kong?
Absolutely, because my dad kind of like flew back from Hong Kong like every once a month to visit us.
Really?
So yeah,
Wow,
because
every month he
because
lost
of
like
work.
16 hours.
Yeah,
flying.
it's a lot of work.
Huge flight.
It's a lot of work.
Also, Vancouver's like part Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
So-
it's bizarre. I mean, when I went to Vancouver, I actually did shows at University of British Columbia.
Oh.
Yeah, so when I went to Vancouver, I landed, and the first place they took me was for Chinese food. I'm like, I'm okay. Like, I flew 16 hours to come back to Hong Kong. Like, this is pointless right now.
But there's
yeah.
no Canadian food.
Yeah,
Well,
well, poutine.
Meanwhile, he's like, I want Indian food, clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what should we offer it? I don't know. Would be insulted?
Like, what's more racist?
He doesn't want Chinese food. What other option does he eat? I don't have no idea.
Would you feel a strong connection with Canada still?
Yes, because my friends, a lot of them are there still, and actually went to high school there, and also, I mean, I just miss the nature there. Like we're very blessed in Hong Kong. Like nature is maybe 5 minutes walk from the city, but still in Canada, that kind of nature is different. It's there, when I say nature, there's like absolutely
Bears and
nobody.
eagles
Yes,
and-
there was actually bears in
And
my
you remind me,
backyard.
what is nature again?
Oh, this guy, I can't get him to walk outside for 5 minutes.
He's like, hey, you want to go for a hike? I'm like, why? I have a great screen at home. Like, I can get a picture of that hike right here. Like, I can Google map it.
He went to Australia for comedy, of course.
Okay.
And some of the comedians were telling me they took him out. They took take him out to see nature, and he's just like, why? Why are we here? Like,
I was at the beach.
what am I supposed to see?
Yeah, beautiful ocean. And I look at him like, I get it. Now what? What do I do with this? Like, no, enjoy it. I'm
There's
like,
water in the house.
exactly. I'm like, I can't drink this. I can drink that. Why am I here?
Oh my gosh.
Is it weird for your friends in Canada that you're like famous somewhere else?
It is for them because actually when in university I was studying like philosophy and political science in hopes to get into politics or law later on. So then when they saw this, they were like, what about being a lawyer? And I was trying to, and I also had this club that I ran and founded. It's called it's a fraternity with girls in there too. It's called Phi Delta Phi International Fraternity. And it's a legal fraternity.
I'm going to be distracted for
lawyers.
2 minutes right now. Keep going.
So there's
Sorry, I don't speak
You're hitting
Greek.
all the keywords. I'm like, just focus. This is really tough for me right now.
like lawyers and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So it's a legal community for undergraduates as well. And so it was the only undergraduate chapter in the entire world. And to basically let people get exposed to how actually working in a law firm is like. So then, I went from there to, here I am on a sitcom playing antagonists.
The irony being an actress in Hong Kong is more political than being, being a politician in Canada.
That's true.
So you're kind of on the right track still.
That's kind of true.
But do your friends actually watch the shows, or they're kind of like, why would I look at you on the screen? Like my friends never come to my shows. They're like, why would I pay to listen to you? I'm like, you unfriend right now.
You should pay me.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Most of your friends are on the show, though.
That's the sad thing. They're like, I'm on the line. I'm like, yeah, but could you buy a ticket? So do you get awkward stuff like when you have shows and stuff? Your friends, do they watch it? Are they followers? Do they ask you about it?
They do. Actually, a lot of my friends and family friends do ask me about like, what's gonna happen now? Like, are you gonna be with? I'm like, I can't tell you this. Are you actually gonna be back? Or are you gonna be like back with him? Blah, blah, blah. So it's interesting. Like you get friends like that, but then it's mostly the family friends. The closer ones actually don't dare ask you because they know like this is your job, you know. And so it's
that's interesting. Yeah. I always find when I find out my friends are listening to the podcast, I'm like, really?
Why? Like,
why would you?
I don't hear myself, so why would you? You get that. But then, okay, so you got the friends. I mean, the family. Have they always been like supportive of your career choice now as well? Where some people going like, could you please, be more serious and do something else?
No, actually, they were the ones who told me to enter into pageant. And this is how I got here.
That's how you got to acting?
Wait,
through the pageant?
Yes.
Was that a creepy uncle? He's like, you should join a pageant?
No, it was my mom.
Oh my God. That is so good.
Your mom was a creepy uncle?
Your mom is
my mom is a creepy mom.
My genetics are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm going to let this
That is
exposes the world.
Oh man, I love your family dynamics are fantastic.
Yeah,
Dad's flying 16 hours just to say hi.
That's not a typical Hong Kong mom, right?
She is actually. She is. But I was quite driven at an early age. I don't know why. I was actually such a nerd back then. Like I would be reading, studying every day, and like I wouldn't go out to party or anything like that. It was. Now that I think about it, what was I doing with my life?
Well, no, you were being a good little girl until your mom's like, "Wait, you can join pageants?
Yeah,
Hold on a second. Put that book down."
Hilarious. Like you're there like happily reading, and your mom's like, "Get in the swimsuit. Get out there.
You're like, "Mom, I'm on chapter 17.
Show yourself to the world."
Exactly. Put that book down.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
And is there? I mean, I'm not in that world at all. Is there like how do you go from the pageant world to acting? What was your first acting gig? I guess.
So it's funny in Hong Kong. People don't get trained to be an actress or an actor.
Yeah. Okay,
this is the whole thing where you just get thrown into this whole scene, and basically you start with being kind of like what do you call those extras, but not kelefela, but it's not really extras, come on.
Yeah.
But you probably get like a few lines here and there. But I first started like that in terms of acting. But actually, the first show I ever did was a variety show. It's called Dolce Vita. The luxury lifestyle show. So it's a hosting, but that's a complete skill set, different than
hosting
say,
is a very specific
acting.
skill set.
Yeah, completely different. But supposedly in Hong Kong, you're supposed to do everything. You're supposed to know how to work through everything.
It seems like being an MC, once you're famous, is like a thing.
It's a thing.
Yes, it is a thing here.
Yeah, I MC a lot. Yeah, because I remember on your website, you've MC'd a lot of corporate events.
Yes.
And I'm sure, like, let's be very honest. As MCs, we're professionals. We'll do our jobs great. But many events, they're like, this is not exciting.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
You guys are idiots. Like, why am I here?
This isn't why I chose this career path.
Exactly. Like, why am I getting excited about you popping champagne? I don't care. Yeah, but I mean, it happens. So you've got to do that. So they just threw you in, right? Like, you got to do the acting, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, you have an MC gig tomorrow. You're like, what?
Yeah.
You get those, right?
And it's funny because MC gigs and something like that, you have to manage yourself. So you have to go and talk to them about like, the normal admin stuff, money, like show, like rundown, stuff like that. And then that was also a complete different skill set as well. So it was interesting. You get to learn everything while you're
learn as you go,
doing
right?
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Learn as you go.
Do you remember the day one on the variety show?
Yes.
What was it? Can you walk me through that?
I was so terrible. I couldn't even speak a single line, completely and fully looking at the camera without, I was just being somebody else that I wasn't. Like when I talk, like for example, right now I'm completely relaxed, just chill, but then when I was trying to be somebody else and be elegant and formal, suddenly I couldn't find my own voice. And
Yeah, I mean, comedy, like, you can completely relate to that. Like,
Yeah.
Like, well, the thing that any successful comedian has is authenticity.
right.
And that means, like, really representing some aspects of yourself, you know, in an authentic form. But nerves make you just build a facade and hide behind it, really,
Right.
because you're just like, how do I get through this?
Yes.
And
your
expectations,
voice,
right?
Your voice changes.
Yeah, because like
Yes.
different
and,
events, like for example, when for comedy, we have to do like say the corporate events, right? And a lot of time the limitations, don't touch this, don't talk that, you know, our audience
No
is this, yeah, no
politics,
politics,
no
no this,
that,
gotta
yeah.
wear pants.
yeah, gotta wear pants, gotta be funny, that kind of stuff, right? And then you automatically kind of second guess yourself. Oh, let me not say it this way. Let me say it that way. And you kind of like start stuttering and kind of missing points that you would normally just say smoothly. But you're like, hey, guys, it's a great to network on a
Yeah.
Friday. You're like, I don't talk that way.
Yeah.
Why do I say those words? And I'm sure initially you were thinking that's the expectation, right?
Exactly.
But eventually you probably broke out of that and were like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this.
Yourself comes
Actually,
through.
Yes.
Yeah. And people will appreciate that, right? You on the show. They want to see you, like Vicky, the host, not just like the host that we want to see this way.
Okay, so I'm going to share this very secret information is that when I was actually doing, so I found my voice eventually after maybe 2-3 years. I was very relaxed by then. I'm talking like this on the show, you know, trying to share my experience in a nice restaurant. Oh, I'm having this chocolate fondue. It's amazing. Like it's whatever. So I'm very relaxed when I deliver my all my
Your lines and stuff, yeah,
and stuff like that, and it's all pre-written. But it's pre-written, but then I always go off the tangent, or I try to add stuff in that is myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of viewers afterwards do tell me this. They're like, "Hey, I really appreciate that you are so relaxed on the show. I'm not like, you know,
Stiff.
like stiff, sitting
Yeah.
upright and
Yeah.
pretending, you know, holding a teacup with my pinky out and stuff like that. I don't do that. I'm just actually enjoying that meal." And they really appreciate that because then you can see that person as like a person eating,
Yeah.
not just a, you know,
Not a
a
news
dolled up.
reporter.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
exactly.
am now
Not a
eating
news
this food.
reporter.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
But my company told me actually at some point, my director was telling me, "Hey, actually, they're telling us that they don't like it." When I say they, is like
The management.
the management.
It's the
doesn't-
guy standing next to him.
The old man who goes, why is she not reading the words?
Yeah.
Tell her not to
Why
go
is
off
she-
script.
Why is
Yeah.
she not talking like this
Yeah.
and explaining how much she likes this
Ah,
candle?
man.
And I'm like, oh my god! So then they didn't like me on the show because they didn't like my style.
Yeah.
After a while, and I'm like, how do I find my own voice and somehow kind of mitigate or
work
kind of
around
find an
this, yeah.
in between thing? It was difficult.
But
It was
also,
very
do you
difficult.
feel in that situation that you just know better than these guys know?
I
Like,
do-
they don't know what they're looking for.
Well, it's obvious because now I would say there's so much new media, new podcasts, for example, or any of the shows that people produce on YouTube and the bloggers. It's all relaxed style. Like people
Yeah.
don't want to see a machine talking anymore. It's completely old school, and it's
It's like
just not human.
Yeah, it's like imagine having to do an ad, right? And
Right.
they're like, "Oh, this is our product. Please hold it up and say how great it is." Like today's world, they'd be like, "Hey, this is a great product. Please use it just
Oh
like
my
I do."
God.
Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work
the news
anymore.
in Australia.
Yeah.
Who are you? Who talks like this? Like, today at 5, there was a...
Exactly.
And then someone fell on the street and they went over. I'm like, what? What intonation is this?
Exactly.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just want to punch him in the
Yeah.
face. I'm
But then
like-
did you have to like fight back and be like, "Hey, could I keep my style?" Or did you just go like, "Forget it, whatever," you know?
But I think it seems to me like what's dominant about you, and I see this in comics a lot, is you're just a personality. You know, you
Yeah.
couldn't hide it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not right for some roles, but for other roles, it's like the best thing in the world.
Exactly. So this didn't really work out in that role. But then when I had to explore and find aspects of myself that relates to this mean bitch character Jenny that I play in the sitcom, that was when everything, the creativity flowed, and then I added stuff like, for example, when I was angry. So Jenny is a very spoiled child. She's very rich, powerful girl, and so she would actually have like she loves to do her nails and stuff like that. So I would be sitting in my office with my high heels on the
table.
table,
Yeah.
and actually when someone comes to me and I'm trying to be mean to them, I would actually just grab the perfume and just spray them or something like that. You know,
How fun is it playing this?
it was
character?
amazing. I get to be the meanest to senior actors, and this is like in the beginning it was very scary because these are like I'm talking about like these.
You finish the scene, you're like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Did I spray your eyes? You know, yeah, it was good. But then in the beginning, it's really how bold you are to take these creative moves. I guess it's the same as you guys in the comedies. Like, you know, it's either going to go super well or it's going to completely backfire.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, the advantage of doing recorded stuff is you can do. I mean, I don't know. Do you have a lot of flexibility to do multiple takes? Like,
we do, but then it is a very rushed scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the person that's making the
that
extra
person.
takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that makes sense.
That's filming in Hong Kong in general. It's always under budget, under time. Like, we should have finished this yesterday. Like, you gave me the script this morning.
Yes.
Like, you were late. It's not my fault, right? Yeah, it's always like that. And like, if you do more than 3 takes, they're like, oh, it's one of those.
Yeah, one of
Right.
those.
Let's not get her again.
I wish we could get 3
Totally
takes
stalling
and stand
time,
up.
nothing.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Doing the same joke 3 times, like the third one was good, guys? Good, thank you. Let's go on to the next.
Because like
Does
stand
that
up.
ever work?
Oh, hell no, man. People hear it twice, they're like,
No
boo.
way.
No.
No way.
Stand up, if you want to do something different, you just got to do it. And
Yeah,
it doesn't
that's it.
always work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like whatever.
Do you try new stuff on a day when you feel like today I have so much energy and I have the courage to go through all this? You know?
I think it's so in the moment that what you're saying is true. Like when you're in the zone, you will naturally like when you're killing it. Suddenly you'll start adding extra pieces, or you get an extra idea. And when you're tired or it's not really going well, you really fall back onto your material and you don't. I mean, that's my experience.
Yeah, same. I mean, like, usually what will happen is during the show, you'll kind of start off with what we call tried and tested material. And you feel out the audience, oh, they seem to like my stuff. And maybe I'll throw this new bit in.
Yeah.
That didn't work. Ignore that. Let's go back to the bit. They'll forget that. They'll forget that little tidbit and think he was just thinking. Yeah. So you do a lot of that. And like Andy said, really, like at the moment, we have a lot of creative freedom because we are the director and the actor. So what we say goes. Right, so that's the benefit, and it's live. So I said it. That's it.
And
it
you
want
it. I mean, there's a real ownership if it doesn't go well. You really, You get the payoff and you get the egg on your face.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, both ways. You're responsible either way. But I think like also for you though with acting, because also I believe there's so much like management and everything you got to please as well.
Yes.
Even if you and the whole team are like, that's a great idea, manager's like, no.
No, exactly.
Right? That would have been like a killer viral bit that would have worked out, and they're like, yeah, I don't get it. And they're like, no.
So there's so much power in owning your own material.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The creativity is just flows.
But have you had those situations where you were just so frustrated, like, man, these guys are idiots. Like, how are they not getting this? Is such good stuff. Why are they throwing it all the way all the time? Do you ever face those? Like, not even just filming, like in other gigs or other campaigns you've done before?
I do, because I'm a person who sees things holistically. I see the whole picture. But there are people who are very, nitpicky on some things. For example, like who walks in first, or who takes this cup and then says the line first. This matters to them. But then for me, I'm like, it doesn't matter. At the grand scheme of things, what is going to get the response that we want on the show? So I would be doing a lot of creative, like I might add in bits that I think is funny, and I'm like, oh, like right there, and I just do it. Like it's kind of like ad lib something. And I like it when I don't tell the other person, so then they can have the response.
Well, then you get a natural reaction.
Yes, so I actually get a reaction, because acting is reacting. So then I'm waiting for that reaction. But then sometimes it's just the director is cut. It wasn't written like that. The guy is supposed to walk in first and then say this line. I'm like, I know, but this is funnier. Like in my head, I'm like, it's funnier this way, But so there's all of that kind of limits your creativity. And I think the challenge of me as an actress is to kind of go through that barrier and just never stop trying, or else I'll be stifled, because they're limiting my creativity. And so
What,
it's the courage.
Was there a moment you can remember where you're like, this is working out, my career's working out?
Actually, when I was playing Jenny,
when you got Jenny, like you got the role and you're like, oh yeah, I'm good.
I never got the role. So as we said, I kind of earned it. It was really not given. They didn't write.
Yeah, Andy, she earned it. God.
Yeah,
She had
earned
to,
it.
She had
Stop
to
thinking
kill
people
the
are
other
given.
person.
Yeah, earned it, not given.
Assume her identity.
Rawr. No. When I say this is because the reason why I got on the show in the first place is the PA called me and said, "Hey, Vicky, we have one scene, one line. We need a girl who can play the piano. I heard you know how to play piano." I was like, "Yeah." So can you come in and just do this one scene? I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So I did that one scene, and then that's it. And then after that scene, the director was like, "Oh, maybe she could, we can write a few more episodes for her, see where this leads to." That's exactly how Jenny came to be. And then, like, one by one, like, more and more scenes, and then, now I'm married to this guy, So it was really just do as you go kind of thing. Yeah. So
Man.
So it sort of
It was
happened
interesting.
organically in a way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did the realization that you were really hitting a new level, did that change, how you viewed your career?
Did it change how I view my career?
Like, were you at a point just kind of thinking like, oh, I don't know where I'm going, I'll just go with the flow? Or at that point, did you kind of go like, oh, I think this is it? I think I finally found that
I mean,
traction.
so many artists in various forms are just hunting that breakthrough moment.
Or don't even know. Like, they don't even know where
They don't know where to
going with
look,
it. Yeah.
and what's on the other side of that?
I think I was never like hunting for that. I never had like, I have to achieve this. I just enjoyed
So
what
you
I
were
did.
like the in the moment artist. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
am where I'm at.
I'm
like,
super go with the flow,
damn,
and
you
like,
were like you will never be a comedian. You are like fine in life.
I
mean-
Yeah.
This is why.
Comedians are like, I need to be willing to kill all of my friends with my bare hands.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I might get to open mic. or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
think so?
yeah. Oh, yeah. We're messed up in many ways.
Really?
No. We're joking.
I
So,
believe
so you basically were from the get go. You were in a very good place.
pretty zen about
Pretty
it.
zen
sounds.
about it.
I'm a
Okay.
super zen. I have to be after like 8 years of being in the industry. It was like,
But I mean, from the get go, you were kind of zen. Like, were you always a zen type of person where you kind of were good with life, or you just find a discover? Was there something that made you kind of get zenified?
well, I was zenified because
Yeah,
I
he's
think
going to put a trademark on that word.
Yeah, exactly.
Zenified.
You can go on my phone right now. Yeah.
after I was studying philosophy, so I think that zenified
Oh, so university,
me.
there you
yeah.
go. Wow.
So then all the the Greek philosophy kind of zenified me. I had to live in the moment, and
Yeah.
I think this is how I got through these many years in this industry, because it's a very passive role. You
Yeah.
have to just wait for. If you're just always waiting, and you have that mindset that you're always waiting for something and it doesn't come, then it's just kind of like your expectations, they're never met. You're never happy in life.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
So then I was trying to kind of, obviously I do some meditation and things like that to help myself, and I read whenever I feel lost. That's how I stay on the ground and stay level-headed. But at the same time, I think without that, I would have been my mind would be lost right now.
What would be your reading? Like,
Yeah, what do you like reading?
What are you reading?
Philosophy books, like of course, my favorite one is The Power of Now by Eckhart
Oh, that's
Tolle.
great.
I love that
that's
one.
Classic. Yeah,
Oh, I
okay,
love
yeah.
that one.
He's got a couple of good ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And well, I do like Ryan Holiday, Ego's
Oh,
the
yeah.
Enemy.
Yeah, the Daily
stuff.
Stoic. Yeah.
I love that stuff. And right now I'm reading Jose Silva, The Mind Control Method. Is really interesting. It's
All right.
all about manifestation, law of attraction. I love
Yeah.
that stuff. So
Okay.
this is what gets me through the day.
Yeah, interesting.
What has been the biggest challenge just, being on a show like that? Like, what was the hardest part?
The hardest part, I think, is being actually in Hong Kong, because it's so small, as we've proven today. It's just everyone knows everybody, and it's
Right.
also
It's got a small city feel to it some ways.
Yeah.
Even though it's
Yes.
a gigantic city.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
bigger than some
The
countries.
actual people are 7. That's about it. Everybody else is just doing their thing. Nobody
I
knows
mean,
them.
4 of us met today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a few more friends around.
There
That's
was
it.
real
Yeah,
realizing
exactly.
each other.
Yeah.
and then like it's a small world, and also at the same time everyone today is a media person. Everyone has their phone and they think, hey, I'm gonna send this out to the news, and it's crazy how much people are up in your business when you're just having a coffee or having a drink with a friend.
That's the difference between you and us. Nobody gives a shit about us. Like, I'm trying to walk around town and be like, hey guys, look at me.
People actively want to know less about me.
Like, I'm like trying to make my life interesting. They're like, we won't film that.
People are like, hey, I'm trying to take a photo. Can you get out of the way?
Yeah. No, but I see what you mean. Like, it's a combination because, like, yeah, definitely Hong Kong people. I mean, it's a very typical Hong Kong thing to be nosy about someone else's business.
Yes.
And especially if, like, you're on TV, they're like even more so. Like, if you go and buy like bread, they're like, oh, is she too poor for food?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like, whoa.
And like, or if you're gonna take the MTR, oh, she's too poor now. She's not taking Ubers anymore. She's taking the MTR, or something's not going well.
And then they overanalyze it. Yeah, she's only had 4 lines recently, so that probably is why. You're like,
something
what?
like that.
It was convenience factor, man. Yeah,
Also,
absolutely.
the MTR is amazing in this city.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's fine. You know,
Yeah,
there's
something
traffic
like
jam
that.
outside. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
people overanalyze it. I guess it's also because it kind of fills a lot of people's own voids. This is what I've learned as well. Is like a lot of times when people kind of want to dig into your business, it's kind of them making themselves feel like, hey, my life's pretty good. Look at her life. Look at his life. It's terrible.
not
Like, I'm
great,
pretty
yeah.
good, right? And then, but then you are at another level where you're like, I don't need your judgment. Whether
Yes.
my life is good, right? And that's why
Yes.
you're free to do whatever you want.
It takes it took many years of practicing like mindfulness and meditation, things like that, to actually be comfortable with that. And be comfortable with, for example, they were talking about my weight, they're like, oh, she's so fat, da da da. It's the typical Hong Kong thing.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
you
Fuck
said.
said that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But stuff like this. So how do you manage your body, like your body image of yourself? And for me, actually, it took a lot of courage, and it took a lot of actually going back and thinking and looking at myself in the mirror and falling in love with yourself, trying to at least, and also reading books, trying to get grounded and stuff like that. It really takes a lot, because at the end of the day, maybe people at work, for example, it's like, oh, why are you having a sandwich? You're gonna get fat. There would be comments like this, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have whatever the fuck I want to have.
Yeah. What is this, YouTube? Stop commenting.
It's a sandwich. It's not a
Something like
ice
that.
cream.
Yeah.
Do you find it's an interesting point though, because I think for people that aren't in the mindfulness game, I think maybe there's a perception that this guy's really mindful. He doesn't have to deal with a lot of the things I have to deal with. When the truth of it is that I assume even Eckhart Tolle has horrible feelings, and what he has is a framework for dealing with it,
Yes.
rather than the ability to remove that challenge.
I think the thing is, we always have to let the emotions and the feelings come in. You have to just acknowledge it, but it's learning how to accept it and let it go. And the releasing of that really helps you with just being back in yourself,
Is there something like you basically remind yourself, like let's say an affirmation or something that you do on a daily basis?
Yes, I do that
You do, right?
every
You're big
day.
on
Every
affirmations.
day.
Yeah, I could kind of guess that there must be something you remind yourself to kind of tackle the day ahead. Is
Yeah.
there like a phrase or something you like? For example, okay, just to reveal, this is literally what I do before I
You're
go on
right.
stage. I actually tell myself I deserve to be funny.
Oh, I love
Oh,
this.
wow.
I've been thinking about that ever since you said it.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Like I'm big on that because like I tell myself I deserve to be funny. It's structured in a way where I'm like, I did my homework, I prepared myself, I've paid my dues. I deserve to be funny, and boom, I go on stage, and then it's kind of like sets my mind in the right place to kind of go, I deserve this. Not, please guys, give me a chance. To
You
be funny.
earned it. Yeah, you
It's-
earned it.
what
And
is-
ever since he told me that, whenever I'm at shows, right before he goes on, I'm looking at him thinking, that fucking arrogant piece of shit.
I was thinking you'd be like, he deserves to be funny.
Look at him standing there telling himself how good he is.
Right.
Now we get it, dude. Look at the audience; they get it too. So, is there like a phrase or something that you remind yourself? Is there something that one common thing that you use all the time?
Well, I also think that, I would think about something like that, actually. I deserve to be funny. For me, it's actually every day I talk to myself that I am enough.
Oh, yeah.
I am enough. This is very simple. And also, we always wish other people, all the best wishes. And I would wish myself that, all the best. We never say this to ourselves because we don't think we deserve it. I always tell myself, all the best. So it's something that we just give our positive energy to people, but we never remember that we ourselves. need that too.
So you're like your own little cheerleader. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, hey, I'm the best.
Yeah.
I also think that in the context of performing, like I don't know. I'm sure this is in other performers, but certainly with stand-up comedians, a lot of comedians will feel terrible before they go on. And I think it's an indulgence.
Yeah.
You know, and especially with like newer comics, they'll go on and I'm like, oh, man, bomb, this is not going to go well. And I'm like, man, they paid to see you.
Yes.
You owe it to them to do a good job. You're indulging by allowing yourself to wallow in those feelings. Get rid of it. They're paid to see it. Get on.
Yeah.
Get on there and do it. You do it well. And I mean, maybe that's more critical than it needs to be, but I realize that like getting in one of those loops of thinking you're not going to go well isn't.
It's not going to go
You're not
well.
a victim. You know, you're allowing yourself to sit in a place that is now everyone else is paying money for a shit show. You know, and reframing it and just being like, I love what you say. It's like, yeah, man, how much work have I done at this?
Yeah, so therefore this should be happening to me, that kind of thing. So then have you had people like your colleagues around you who are, I'm sure you must have one or two people who are like just super negative, like the negative Nancy's always like all the time,
so
like,
many,
oh no,
yes.
it's going to be terrible. Have you ever tried confronting them or helping them or have you even had people
Oh,
where you're like,
man,
you know what,
people
forget
are
it?
not ready to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you can't tell them that. You can't tell
Right?
them that you're being negative. They know this. They'll be like, yeah, I'm a negative
No, but I mean,
person.
like, like
Doesn't
not
help.
to tell them that they're negative, but have you had the urge, especially because the fact that usually if you take care of yourself
Right.
and see someone else struggling or someone else going through something, you kind of feel like, hey, I've helped myself, you know, can I help this person?
Oh, yes.
Have you had those attempts, especially because like in the entertainment industry, you're gonna get a ton of these people who actually enjoy being pessimistic and enjoy like my life's terrible.
They're dramatic, you know. They love drama. Some of them thrive on drama. So this is gonna be how
so
it is.
have you had that? And do you get? Are you the type that you're like, hey, I want to see if I can help, or do you kind of go like the zone out? Whatever these people are negative, keep the negative energy away from me. Which type are you? Are the proactive help?
I'm
or
the healer, man.
You're the
I
healer?
like to help, yeah. But I also realize that there's so much you can do for someone who's not ready for help, and who doesn't think they need help.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just saying, in comedy, there's so much of that. I'm like, yeah, these people don't need help.
Okay, well, you know what? Here's what my view on that is, right? Like, I don't think you can. It's very hard to change someone's mind, but you can change the forum. And when I've been a producer, I've run different comedy clubs and stuff. What I've done is I've tried to keep the place really positive.
Right.
And by having like a healthy environment, and you know, comedy can get really negative and stuff. Like as bookers, we've never been negative in our rooms, and that's been like a quality of the rooms that we have worked in. And what I've noticed is that people will lean towards being more positive, or they'll leave. If really
Eventually
negative
just give
people
up,
hate a positive environment,
Yes.
it doesn't click with them at all. They're really uncomfortable in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
And so like comics that have played our clubs have some guys who are maybe a little bit more confrontational and stuff. We've tend to see the best of them. And then people who are really just genuinely negative, they just don't even want to be around a place where people are being just really nice to each other. And I guess it's harder, you know, comedy clubs are a little bit more of a microcosm.
Right.
You know, whereas on set, it's like you've got so many big pieces and personalities and stuff on a big show.
Yeah.
But I think I believe that dynamic is true of anything, whether it's your house or the people
the
you
office,
hang around
whatever,
with. You know, if you foster a positive environment, then it brings the best out of people.
I completely agree. This was actually when I first came back from Vancouver, and I was thrown into this whole pageant thing, and then the acting thing. Actually, in the what do you call this? The makeup room, where all the actresses and actors get ready. You can just see how people respond to positivity, or if they're negative themselves. Some like to talk a lot, you know, go around. I used to, when I came back, I used to be like, hey, how's it going? You know, super high energy all the time. And it was genuine. I was actually feeling that good, you know. But actually, I realized in this culture, not a lot of people would think that you are genuine. They think you're putting on an act.
They're second guessing it, right?
No, they're second guessing. Why is this person so happy?
Oh, that's Hong Kong.
This is Hong Kong, right? How do you miss it?
There was there's a comedian called Fab, a Chinese comedian. He used to have this joke where he was trying to teach his two little young girls a politeness, right? So he's on the minibus, getting off the minibus, and he's like trying to teach them thank you.
Yeah.
So he tells the minibus driver, thank you. The driver's like, why are you thanking me? You didn't pay? That's so humble. That's what I mean. Like,
This
if
is
you're
humble.
enthusiastic and genuinely happy, hey, how's it going? They're like, why
What's
do you give
wrong
a shit?
with you?
Like,
Yeah.
why would you care about my life? It's like, because we're friends. Like, we're friends now.
We're
What do
not
you want
friends,
from-
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you sense that, right?
So there's this. So then people put their guard up, like, like this person is fake. You know, he's just a fake person.
Yeah.
So
there's always ulterior motive.
There's
That's what
always
people
that.
think, right? Yeah.
But I find when people think I'm disingenuous, I just allow them to be wrong and just trust that they'll figure it out.
this is what I've learned as well. Now I actually went through phases. So there was a point where I was like, I felt rejected because I'm just putting my energy out there, but there was some rejection and there was some backfire in a way. And then I tried to tone myself down. I tried to be quiet and just.
And that sucks.
And that sucks. I hated every
You're
moment
stopping
of
yourself,
it.
right? You're kind of like, just don't be so nice.
just
You're like,
don't be
"Who you
nice."
like?"
Just-
you walk inside with a big smile inside and you're like, hi.
Don't say hi when people
Hello,
make eye
colleague.
contact.
Yeah.
You know, just
Yeah.
it's hard.
Don't
it's
give a shit
very
about it.
And then
hard.
you walk in, you're like, hello, colleagues.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
you're like, she's so genuine.
Exactly. We like her.
But now I'm going back. Like now I think I've reached a point in my life where I feel I'm comfortable being myself. I feel that my energy, I don't care whether you appreciate it or not. This is where I'm gonna be.
You become Jenny on the block.
Yeah.
It's like, she's like, yeah, I'm just Jenny on the block.
Yeah, that's me. So
All right. But
take
then
it or leave
would
it.
you say that you can do that now because you've kind of built the credentials and the respect amongst your peers that they're like, okay, she has the right to, like, if a new kid on the block comes in and says, I want to be myself, you're like, there's a process. It doesn't work that way.
You're way too inexperienced
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
yourself.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
fake
Be
for a
someone
while.
else for 10
Like,
years.
it
You need
doesn't
some
work.
hazing first.
Just give him a wedgie. You know?
Exactly. But then, so coming back to one thing is that I'm always curious when people are established in their own careers.
Right.
Everybody sees you in your career, right? But they don't probably see you when you're off camera at home just hanging out and stuff. Like, what would be your day? Like, for myself, I'm very happy just being in my own corner with a book
same.
and just staring at the wall.
Absolutely.
So you'd be more introverted? Is that- in that sense, like, you appreciate it? I'm not saying that you might be an introvert, but I mean, like, you appreciate, like, just being in a corner by yourself and just hanging out for the whole day.
I could do that, and I think more and more I'm really enjoying alone time, like just going out even with a book, sitting under the sun, tanning. That is a perfect day for me.
Yeah.
Like that is perfect. I don't need
That's
anything
called
else.
old age.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that we enjoy that, I'm like, man.
So
this is
me.
I like eating soup and going to bed at 6
Exactly.
p.m.
Yeah.
I sit on the lawn I don't have and say, get off my lawn. And I enjoy that.
No, I enjoy
No,
being
fair enough.
social
So
too. Come
simple
on.
things, right? You realize that it's more than just, I got to flaunt it and go around
Absolutely.
and just be in the sun and with a book,
That's it.
enjoying that, right?
That's
so you're
it.
at that point. But then was there a time in your career, because I'm sure there's a lot of temptations of like, there's all these opportunities and parties and everything that you'd be like, oh, this seems like a cool, fun thing. Have you gone through that phase or just you were never into that?
I think I was more into the whole trying to go out and meet people all the
Yeah.
time, especially when I came back to Hong Kong. I had to build from ground zero again. I actually did go out a lot, and I forced myself, even no matter how tired I was, I'm like, I have to go out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
I mean, you can do that in your 20s,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But then now there's just so much energy that you have, right? And I'm like, now I'm conserving my energy only for people that I care about
Yeah.
and love, or that is what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
And I think that has served me well. I feel I'm more energized, and I get to spend my energy with people that I care about.
Yeah.
So,
So basically, they deserve your energy kind of
yes.
deal. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
you have to earn it.
Yeah, you don't get it.
If there was one thing that you could write on a piece of paper and give to yourself when you moved back to Hong Kong, what would it be?
That's a good one.
You know,
You
like
have to write it. Can I type it?
Well, yeah, I mean, but you know what? The point of writing it is that it's short. You know, like I'm not asking you 20 things that you would say. Just like one thing that would be a good guiding, North Star to getting through it.
Yeah, like I would write like, don't go out with her or her. Like, go straight
Yeah.
to her.
Sarah's a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Don't spend that. Skip this and this. Just go straight to this person. That's her number. Call her.
You're allergic to milk.
Exactly. Yeah. Buy insurance on this day.
Is there anything that comes up? Like you don't overthink it. Like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
think,
like
just
anything like-
quickly.
yeah, just a quick reminder.
You've got 1 minute. You've got 1 second to tell yourself something.
Just be yourself. I'm enough.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
That's
Nice
it.
and concise. I think
I'm enough.
I'm enough. That's good.
I'm
I'm
definitely not
enough.
enough. Right.
Yeah.
Are you quoting your wife or just yourself?
I was just reading some messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So then, coming back to this whole thing, is that are there a lot of misunderstandings that you have to deal with on a daily basis and clarify? And what's the most repeatedly misunderstood thing about you? Like I said, like it happens to us all the time.
Yeah.
Comedians, you're funny, that kind of thing. But I think the most
You're saying you point at me like that's misunderstood about me, that I'm funny.
No, my hand was just pointing. My fingers are pointing at myself. It was bad. No, but like, and doesn't it frustrate you, or are you at a point like, yeah, it's always misunderstood? Like I said, I mean, growing up over here being Indian, people think I don't speak Cantonese and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it's repeated when I speak Cantonese. Like, oh, how can we speak it? Da, da, da. I'm like, okay, here's an FAQ. Right, read this and call me afterwards. Right?
You just need to get it on your shirt.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I'm waiting sponsorship. Yeah, I don't want to spend that kind of money. Like, what's that misunderstood thing, and how do you deal with it? Like after all these years or whatever.
I think I'm still dealing with it, and I think it's on an everyday basis. For example, because when you think pageant girl, you don't think philosopher or
Yeah.
would read books. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
so that's like that in
Yeah.
a nutshell, right? So it's almost like. Actually, I was very into reading about Marilyn Monroe, for example, and I read about her story. And actually, she's actually an intellectual. She actually wrote poems, poetry, read a lot. Nobody knew about this. It's just about like how sexy she
Yeah.
was, stuff like
Birthday
that.
songs and stuff like that. Yeah,
So I kind of, in a way, can relate to that because in the media, I'm always portrayed as the sexy girl or that kind of thing. But I don't think people actually understand that I have a brain too.
Love that. What's the most misunderstood thing? Well, everyone knows how beautiful I am,
Yeah.
but I'm also very intelligent.
FYI. So then, would you say, like, because in today's world, we're always talking about how we want to kind of encourage the next generation, embrace yourself, kind of take advantage, or basically be the best version of yourself.
Right.
What type of person are you in the sense of trying to encourage the next generation? Are you the type to say that, hey, if you got to flaunt it, if you got the opportunity, take advantage of it, or are you the type of person like better know yourself, take your time, don't jump into anything? Which type are you? More conservative, as in like, don't go around just throwing it at. I mean, basically, if you have anything, just randomly throw it out different walls and hope it sticks. Or are you the type that says, if you got it, try it out, see what happens, and just go for it? What would you encourage the new generation to think?
Well, I would say take it slow. I actually have know thyself tattooed here.
You are pointing at which area? I don't want to look. I would. My blood pressure at a certain level, people.
Anyways.
Know thyself.
Know thyself.
Dude, that is so good. You know what's funny? Because like as a young kid, I always wanted to have a tattoo on my back that said "Only I can hurt me." And the
Oh.
idea is
But
that
how
if you,
funny is it to have it in a place where you can't read it?
yeah, you're like, no. What? Wait, can you tell me what I
The
told
one
myself?
thing you need to know. Damn it, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
why did I put it there? I
I
was
was
so
in the mirror
flexible.
like, I should have done it back to front.
No,
so I
that's a
could-
good way to test your flexibility. I could read it less yesterday. Oh, I've tightened up today. It's not so good. Yeah.
Or it expands.
When did you get this? When did you get this
It's
tattoo?
just
Actually,
be flexible.
exactly. It literally says if you can't see it, yoga.
A few years ago, actually,
Okay.
in Vancouver.
What was the like? Okay, you don't have to answer this. Like, what was the moment that said I want to get this? There must have been that one thing that triggered. Like, the thing for me, the only I can hurt me was when I was young. People always do kind of backstab me and stuff like that, and I wanted to put it on my back to say, before you backstab me, just remember only I can hurt me. So go
That's
nuts
so
and stab it.
cool. Oh my
so that was the thing,
gosh.
right? So
That's
that
so
was the
cool.
story behind it. I haven't done it because I'm an addictive personality. That if I do one, my whole body's tatted up for
Oh
sure.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely happening. So I'm not doing it just yet, but there must be a story behind the know thyself moment where you're like, I want this over here and to remind myself, or just
Yeah, what was the catalyst for that
Yeah.
tattoo?
I think I felt a bit lost in a sense because everyone is teaching you what to do in life. Everybody, like your fans, your friends, your family, everyone giving you advice. It's like, okay, I know how I want to live my life now. So then I was kind of lost. Like, what do I like? What do I even like? I don't even know sometimes. And what am I like? What am I? How do other people actually view me as? And how is that? in one as like.
Are they
with
aligned?
Inner, yeah, are they aligned? And sometimes I realize, no, not at all. This is not me. So I'm trying to find my own voice in a way. And I think that was what motivated me to get that. Like, know thyself, remember this.
Yeah,
Vicky,
yeah.
it's been so awesome having you on today. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you sharing your time.
No, thank you. I had a great time chatting with you.